Now on Coast TV News.
From rescue to recovery, a man is presumed dead after falling into a Milton waterway. We hear from his aunt as the search is put on hold for now. More ticks, more risks. Health officials warn of more bugs and the diseases they carry. Stay safe outside.
I'm getting ready to let you know just how much rain we've already received.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
A tragic ending after a massive water rescue operation in Milton this afternoon. Good evening, I'm Christina DeRobertis. Thanks for joining us. Emergency crews were dispatched around 3:45 this afternoon for reports of an 18-year-old who went missing on the Broadkill River. After hours of searching, the Lewis Fire Department says he's now presumed dead. Telemundo Delmarva and Coast TV News reporter Ana Sofia Roman spoke with one of his loved ones.
Family, friends, and co-workers of 18-year-old George Nis Chilel, who is reported missing on the Broadkill River, looking over where he was last seen. His aunt, Cecilia Morales, told Coast TV Nis Chilel is from Guatemala and lived in Harrington.
I loved him like a son because I have a son who's about the same age as him, and for me, it's very sad. Very painful. I spent some time with him. He was a very humble and a very good young man. I don't have the words to describe all this pain.
Divers, helicopters, and boats were involved in the search effort throughout the afternoon. The Lewis Fire Department says Nis Chilel was standing on a piece of wood while fishing when he slipped and went in the water.
Once we got here and we realized that, the victim was not on top of the water and it wasn't a surface rescue, that we needed to activate other local fire departments and get other resources here. We knew we were going to need the divers with more boats and that it was going to be a pretty extensive search mission. The current here runs pretty heavy, probably 5-6 knots. It's about 13 feet deep when we got here.
From the distance, Morales thinks about the mom of Nis Chilel, who's back in Guatemala.
It's unfortunate for us. He walks out, and now how does he return back? In a box? It's very sad. There's no son who can replace that emptiness in the heart. I'm very sad.
DSP says the search has been suspended for now due to safety conditions. It's unclear the specific timing of when the search will resume, but they are sure it's not over. In Milton, Ana Sofia Roman, Coast TV News.
Again, this happened along the Broadkill River, and here's where exactly, so you can see on a map. If you're not familiar, there are strong currents in this part of the water, and we are told it was an outgoing tide this afternoon, meaning the tide was rushing out to the bay quite fast. And just 4 days ago, a swimmer went missing in Rehoboth Beach. On Sunday morning, just after 11 a.m., the search for that swimmer was suspended. The Rehoboth swimmer went missing Saturday evening on Olive Avenue. He's not been recovered yet. Now we're going to go ahead and take a live look into Lewis and turn things to our first alert, Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams. Paul, good evening.
Good evening to you. So as I'm beginning to make my computer act right, we had a good deal of cloud cover that pushed through, and right now in Irish Eyes, we're in Lewis right now at 77 degrees. We're no longer under any flood watches right now, no more additional flash flood warnings as well. So everything has subsided quietly, and we stay quiet, okay, for the rest of the evening. Temperatures in the mid-70s for us in the Lewis area. Here's the latest look at the radar. We can see the last remnants of the scattered showers. The last shower is just hanging on near Highway 50 south of Ocean Pines, but now that's out of the way. Last sprinkle or two in Girdle Tree, but generally speaking, we're staying very clear. Coming up, we'll give you a tally on a lot of the rain that's been in several areas and just how much more rain is on the way, Christina.
Appreciate it, Paul. Well, the intersection of Zoar and Peterkins Road going to see some changes. Another roundabout will be added in Georgetown. DelDOT hosted a workshop on this today where the public got to make some suggestions, ask questions, and learn more about roundabouts. DelDOT Group Engineer Brian Behrens told us he believes this upgrade will keep the traffic flowing at a better and safer pace.
What we see now is just cars, especially at the peak time, still backing up at those stop signs, and so the roundabout is going to keep that moving, flowing a little bit better during those peak hours. But in the off-peak, it's just so much safer than having someone, than having the stop conditions or even a traffic signal there where there's potential for more conflict points at those types of intersections.
Now, the timeline for the project not yet set, but DelDOT is looking at a $4 million price tag. 2 people are facing felony drug charges after a weekend search in Milford. Troopers say 41-year-old Garen Westcott and 31-year-old Jasmine Gibbs were found inside a home with cocaine, over 170 grams of fentanyl, and 3 children, both now facing multiple charges, including child endangerment. Well, it is the season for spending time outdoors, but with time in nature comes the risk of ticks. The Virginia Department of Health says Accomack County is topping the charts for some tick-related illnesses. Virginia health officials have some advice for staying safe while enjoying our time outside.
I would never recommend anybody avoid the outdoors. I think we probably do too much of that as it is these days. Like I had mentioned, long pants, long sleeves, socks and shoes, boots preferred if you can, and the situation is okay for that.
Now, according to the Virginia Department of Health, Accomack County has seen the highest number of cases in the state, which could result in more cases of Lyme disease. An online auction for old street signs has paid off big in Berlin. For the past few weeks, these old street signs have been up for bidding, with proceeds going to help pay for the new community center on Flower Street. The auction closed today, and town officials say they raised more than $10,000.
Really didn't know what the kind of response would be, and I'm so pleased. I think that there were as many people who are interested in the street signs as there are people who are interested in supporting our future community center.
Some signs had more than 30 bids on them, and more than 140 signs were auctioned off. While that $10,000 will go to the community center, the project also has some help in the form of federal and state grants in Berlin. Tensions ran high at last night's Dover City Council meeting. Community members there expressing deep frustration over the city's ongoing gun violence. Dozens of people took the mic, pleading with city leaders to work together and find real solutions to the ongoing violence in the capital city. Among those sharing their grief were 2 mothers who lost their sons to shootings in Dover this year. Dover police say they're doing everything they can with the resources available, but many in the community say more needs to be done.
If we all come together as one, we can get more kids off the street, where we won't have to be here asking for justice for anybody else.
Now, many people are calling on the city to help by installing cameras and other safety measures to stop crime. The city's recently passed budget includes $10,000 for improving security at Barrister Place. New opportunities are available for car seat checks along the Eastern Shore. Organizers say experts will help make sure car seats are installed correctly. That's happening at Snow Hill at the Volunteer Fire Department tomorrow from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. People can make appointments online. In Cambridge, City Manager Glenn Steckman will have office hours on Saturday, July 19th at City Hall. He's going to be available from 9 a.m. to noon, and you can either stop by or email him to make an appointment. Glenn says he's looking to make Saturday office hours a monthly occasion for people unable to get to City Hall during the week. Making national headlines tonight, there's new pressure on Attorney General Pam Bondi as House Speaker and top Trump ally Mike Johnson calls on her to release all of the Jeffrey Epstein files. And as Kelly O'Donnell reports, now President Trump is also weighing in.
New tonight, the MAGA movement's push for public disclosure of the Justice Department's files on notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein now includes a high-profile Trump ally.
I'm for transparency.
House Speaker Mike Johnson.
It's a very delicate subject, but we should put everything out there and let the people decide it.
A push for damage control from the president's own daughter-in-law, Lara Trump.
I do think that there needs to be more transparency on this, and I think that will happen.
Earlier today, Attorney General Pam Bondi tried to deflect Epstein questions.
Nothing about Epstein. I'm not going to talk about Epstein.
Reporters pressed her on new comments today from President Trump, suggesting Bondi consider opening some files.
She's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release.
The president said today you would release credible files related to Mr. Epstein. Are you prepared to do that, and when would you?
Our memo speaks for itself, and we'll get back to you on anything else.
That DOJ memo said it found no incriminating client list, no credible evidence of blackmail, and therefore no further disclosure. That stunned some Trump supporters because she had said this in February when asked about a client list.
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Then her push to clarify.
My response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
The controversy lit a political wildfire in MAGA world.
Make some noise if you care about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
And we are just getting started this evening. Coming up next, more development in Sussex, what the County Council approved today. But first, better cell service coming to Milton, but why some neighbors think this new cell tower is not in the right place.
Here's a look at your Bay forecast. In Cambridge, we're looking for thunderstorms again on Wednesday and for Friday, but it's an interesting twist of fate and forecast for Thursday. We'll fill you in on that in 60 seconds. Temperatures right now in the mid-70s for us in Salisbury. Streets just a little bit on the wet side, but that's okay. We're getting a break from the precipitation, but the heat is about to crank up in a major way for at least 2 days in a row. But right now, we're cooling off and we're drying out as well. 76 degrees in a lot of locations: Milton, Longneck, Millsboro, Dagsboro, Laurel, as well as Bridgeville, and in Milford right now, 76 degrees. Dew point temperatures not too far behind that. I mean, we're looking at continuing to stay a little bit moist in the atmosphere. But here's what happened with the rain. We had over an inch of rain in places like Laurel, Georgetown, Greenwood, Dagsboro. The highest account that we have is actually Bethany Beach at 1.82. Not quite 2 inches of rain, but it was enough to prompt concern for flash flood watches. And we actually had a warning briefly. We sent some articles out about that, but those both have been allowed to expire. Over an inch for us in Milford and Delmar, just shy of 3/4 of an inch in Stokely. Lewis and Harbison, 0.68, 0.65 in Ellendale, and just over 1/4 of an inch in Rehoboth Beach. Here's the latest look at what's happening. Now, we have a stationary boundary to our north, but to the south of it, we are actually looking at it drying up very quickly. The last remnants of rain was actually over near the Ocean Pines area, and that just kind of melted its way over the water and out of the way. For the rest of the night, our forecasting models are indicating just cloud cover, no additional precipitation. So overnight, we'll stay in the low to mid-70s with a chance of a sprinkle or two. Now, for the next 5 days, it's really about the rainfall and what happens on the days where we're not expecting the rain. You know, it's kind of in between for Wednesday. Thursday, the rain is out of here, but the heat comes right back in a major way. And then we're back to the rain and the heat combination for Friday, and then we're just dealing with rain on Saturday going into Sunday. See, Wednesday, we're looking at 90, for example, in Longneck, 89 in Millsboro by the 4 o'clock hour. And by 11 o'clock in the evening, we're still in the 80s, and the winds are coming out of the south. Then as we go into mid-morning for Thursday, we have temperatures in the lower 80s along the coast for the beaches, but 87 in Georgetown, Milton, and those locations. It's going to be about how crazy muggy it's going to be. I want you to think about something. We're going to stay between very muggy to miserable right up here. And if we're fortunate, on Friday, we'll drop to humid. Okay, which is already above muggy. That's just how much moisture is going to be there. It's going to feel like 100+ degrees on Friday and then Saturday on all these locations until we get to like the weekend when the rain cools things off properly. So Friday in the evening, a few scattered showers. And then on Saturday and Sunday and Monday, we have more waves of rain that's going to push across. Finally, here's a look at the extended forecast. That 93 on Thursday, it's going to feel every bit of 105 when you factor in that humidity. So get ready for your hair day to be, shall I say, difficult.
Can't wait for that. Thanks, Paul. Well, Verizon putting up a new cell phone tower in Milton, meaning telephone troubles might be dialed down soon. You know, those dropped calls, failed text messages here in town. The new tower, it sits right next to Milton's historic district. You can see on your screen the tower is 140 feet tall. Crews right now are working on the electrical components. Verizon officials say it will help enhance coverage in the area, which is good news for some locals, but others say they're not so happy with the location of the tower.
It should never have gone up. It should have gone away from the town and where the residents live, more of a commercial area or in a field. And not many people are happy, other than the more reliable cell service.
Verizon officials tell us they expect construction to wrap up in the fall. They say they will keep customers updated on when they can expect to see coverage improvements. This land in Ocean View can now turn into up to 50 condos, thanks to an approval at Sussex County Council today. On Tuesday, the County Council approved 2 zoning applications. As you can see from the planning documents released by the developer, the new project will take out most of the trees there, paving the way for more development right along Windmill Drive in Ocean View. One local lives in the area, and he's sitting in his backyard watching all the animals and the trees behind his home, but he says new development may put an end to all of that.
We have raccoons and flying squirrels and all kinds of birds. It's beautiful, and that's going to all go away.
Now, according to the County Council, the public will have a 60-day period to submit an appeal to the approval before the zoning becomes official. This does bring us to our CoastTV poll tonight. We want to know, do you think Delmarva needs more condos? Looking at the updated results, 83% say no way, 1% say probably not, 15% say only if they're affordable, 1% also say definitely. We want to know what you think. You can still vote. Go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app. Coming up, inflation is up. We look at the numbers and hear from the president on rising consumer prices. Just like temperatures across much of the U.S., the nation's inflation rate also heated up during the month of June. The Bureau of Labor Statistics released Consumer Price Index data on Tuesday. It reveals prices rose 0.3% last month. That boosted the annual inflation rate up to 2.7%, a high not seen since February. And President Trump is in Pittsburgh for an energy and AI event with industry leaders and CEOs this week, saying inflation is right on target, despite that report we just told you about. NBC's Melanie Zanona has more from Washington.
President Trump in the Keystone State today, touting his energy and technology agenda, as a new report shows inflation and prices on the rise. The Consumer Price Index shows inflation rose 0.3% in June and up 2.7% from June 2024. The president, though, waving off the report.
No inflation. All we have is we're making a fortune. We are taking in hundreds of billions of dollars.
Experts say the president's tariffs are increasing prices on everything from clothing to food.
We're starting to see that trickle in to the end consumer today. And we're seeing it in categories like apparel, medical services, medical devices.
But President Trump believes tariffs are good for the country. And since he took office, he's slapped tariffs on friends and foes alike.
Because we want tariffs and we want the money coming into the United States. Rather than paying the tariffs, the country or the company will build in the United States.
Small businesses, though, are paying the costs of those tariffs, trying to protect consumers. But that can't last.
I think we have reached the limit. At this point, there's no way that we can, keep eating those costs, because otherwise we're going to go out of business.
And the president has repeatedly pushed Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to lower interest rates.
Interest rates should be coming down.
But Powell says inflation isn't low enough. And Bankrate's Stephen Kratz says the Fed is waiting for the tariff ripple effect.
They're positioned for a fight. We're still anticipating that there will be a rate cut in September and probably another one in December, simply because they have been prepared for this.
Democrats seized on the report, saying the president promised to bring down prices on his first day in office. But now the opposite is happening. Melanie Zanona, NBC News, Washington.
Coming up in sports, we'll hear from a local baseball star who's going straight from high school to the pros. And coming up, weather and appetite, how the heat might be able to help you with your diet.
Okay, that I'm going to listen for. Anyway, your golf forecast. It's going to be a lot of heat, so I guess with that story, you'll be eating a whole lot because it's going to be seriously hot and seriously humid.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
A new study finds no link between aluminum in vaccines and autism. Aluminum in childhood vaccines has long been a target of vaccine skeptics who blame the ingredient for a myriad of health concerns. But the study of more than 1 million people, published on Monday, found no link between aluminum in vaccines and an increased risk of 50 chronic conditions, including autoimmune diseases, allergies, and autism. And new numbers are showing children across the globe are not as medically protected as they could be. The World Health is out with its latest immunization report. They found roughly 14.3 million children have never received a vaccine shot. A WHO doctor says a mix of factors is preventing more kids from getting proper vaccinations. Those include conflicts and war zones across the world, also vaccine misinformation. Well, if the heat outside is making your insides revolt against food, you're not alone. Experts say weather has a big impact on our appetites. In tonight's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither finds out why and what you should eat during a heat wave.
As temperatures keep going higher, your appetite may be getting smaller, and researchers say there's a reason for this. Science.
It actually has to do with the thermic effect of food. So we're not as hungry in the heat because our bodies don't want to get overheated.
Registered dietitian Julia Zumpano with Cleveland Clinic says digesting food and stockpiling its nutrients uses energy, which generates heat. If your body is already hot, it may not want any more heat.
Generally, naturally, our appetites just drop in the summer and in the hotter months.
Even if you're not as hungry, Zumpano says it's still important to have a balanced diet. She says to choose the most nutrient-dense foods possible, like fresh fruits and veggies, and make sure you're getting enough protein. You might opt for ones that aren't as heavy.
Proteins can come from meats or fish, but it can also come from things like eggs and beans and dairy sources like cottage cheese and Greek yogurt.
And finally, Zumpano says digestion can slow down when you're dehydrated, so make sure to drink plenty of water.
Even focusing on hydrating foods can be very helpful, like watermelon and lettuce and celery and cucumbers, cherries and citrus fruits and strawberries. So all of those foods can be very hydrating, in addition to, of course, increasing your fluid intake.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
A local high school baseball star is headed to the pros. The Houston Astros drafted Cape Henlopen's Jace Mitchell in the 7th round of the MLB draft on Monday. Mitchell had previously committed to play college ball at Kentucky, but he's taking the opportunity to go straight to the pros. In an interview with DSN's Tim Nolan, Mitchell explains why he couldn't pass up that opportunity.
Being able to play every day is going to be awesome, and having baseball be my job, I mean, that's just a dream. Getting paid doing what I love, and I mean, that's just awesome. I couldn't ask for anything more, and I'm just super excited for it.
For our full interview with Jace Mitchell, head on over to DelmarvaSportsNetwork.com or the DSN Facebook page. And in football, the Commanders announced today that they're set to retire the 6th number in franchise history, number 81, in honor of the legendary Washington wide receiver Art Monk. The Hall of Famer spent 13 seasons with the team in the 80s and 90s and retired as the NFL's all-time leading receiver. Monk's number will be officially retired on November 2nd. Fittingly, the Commanders will debut new throwback burgundy and gold jerseys that day, honoring the era when Monk and Washington won 3 Super Bowls together. That'll do it for sports. Have a great night.
Coming up, we get a sneak peek at the 2026 Olympic medals and what they represent. Check it out. The medals for next year's Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games were revealed in Venice on Tuesday. According to the Olympic organization, the medals feature a unique design that combines 2 halves that symbolize the culmination of the athlete's journey and all those who have walked beside them along the way.
I'm happy. I would like to describe our medals. I think that they respect 100% the mentality, the style of the Italian people.
And the 2026 Winter Games begin February 6th. You can catch all the action right here on Coast TV.
I actually enjoy those games a lot. Actually, they're very fun to watch. All right, so we take a look. Ocean City, we're at 77 degrees, courtesy of our Dry-Tech camera. And we're going to stay in the mid-70s for the rest of the night, but no additional precipitation. We're not expecting that. Maybe a little fog, but nothing that's falling from the atmosphere. Dawn Galloway of Dexboro, congratulations. You're our umbrella winner, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling. If you want to keep up with your forecast with our telephone line, it's open for service 24 hours a day. Your forecast is just a call away, sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mandalis, and Federico. Finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. So let's go over this for just a quick moment. We are expecting for it to stay mainly dry most of the day. We'll still have an afternoon spot shower flaring up, particularly for the beaches, Rehoboth, Bethany Beach, Indian River Inlet, and down towards Ocean View. Thursday, it's really about the heat and humidity. 93, but I want you to think 105, because that's what it's going to feel like. Then we go back to our rainy pattern for the next 3, 4, 5, 6, well, basically 6 to 7 days in a row.
How fun. Thank you, Paul, and thanks to you at home for joining us for Coast TV News at 11 tonight. You can always find some more local news and weather on our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon's up next, and we'll see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.